Honor's killing it in every segment, coming out with value for money smartphones. They launched the Honor 8 Pro that rivaled the OnePlus 5, and then the Honor 7X that went up against the Mi A1 for the mid-range crown, and now they're back at it again. The Honor View 10 locks horns with the OnePlus 5T. So if you, like me, hone in on the camera every time you get your hands on a smartphone and can't wait to see how these cameras compare, well then you've come to the right place. Hey guys, this is Sundar, you're watching C4E Tech, and today we're gonna pit the Honor View 10 and the OnePlus 5T against each other to see which fares better with regards to camera performance. Before we start, if you find this video helpful, hit thumbs up, subscribe and click on that bell icon. Let's now get started. Now, a spoiler. Both these devices have excellent cameras and you'd be hard-pressed to find faults with them. However, since we have to choose one, I will be indulging in a bit of nitpicking. The Honor View 10 has a 20 megapixel f1.8 monochrome camera and a 16 megapixel f1.8 RGB camera, while the OnePlus 5T has a 16 megapixel f1.7 primary shooter along with a 20 megapixel f1.7 secondary shooter. Under good lighting conditions, the OnePlus 5T's images turn out to be sharper. Look at this comparison. The texture of the bark of the tree looks crispier on the image shot with the 5T. Here, once again, the text looks sharper on the one shot with the 5T. Both cameras render colors really well. The colors do look a tad more natural on the image shot with the OnePlus 5T. Here, the blues and reds are represented accurately by the 5T. Some of you might prefer the punchier colors on the View 10 though. It's all down to personal choice, and honestly the difference isn't all that huge. You probably won't notice it unless you compare them side by side like we are doing now. The images shot with the View 10 are also ever so slightly warmer. Again, not worth cribbing about, just worth a mention. Like Ash mentioned in the full review of the View 10, at times it shoots images that have more than optimal contrast. Like here, the 5T gets it right, but on the image shot with the View 10, the greens on the leaf look too dark and unnatural. The dynamic range is more or less similar across both images for the most part. In challenging conditions, the 5T performs noticeably better. Here the shadows, basically the roof and the building, look brighter on the image shot with the 5T. Here's another example. The road looks a bit brighter on the 5T's image. Let's now zoom in. The board looks brighter as well. Let's zoom in further. Whoa, you can actually see the vehicle's number. It's fairly readable. Now that serves as a reminder of the high amount of detail the 5T is capable of capturing. Moving on, both phones have lenses with wide apertures, f1.7 on the 5T's cameras and f1.8 on the View 10's cameras, hence the strong bokeh. If you want to move away from the subject and still keep the blur, both phones have a dedicated mode to do exactly that. Portrait mode on the 5T and wide aperture mode on the View 10. Here are some samples. Both phones do struggle a bit with edge detection. On the image shot with the View 10, you can see a fair few blemishes near his face and shoulder, while on the one shot with the 5T, some part of the image remains in focus, it's not blurred out. It's also worth mentioning that the amount of blur can be changed before or even after clicking the picture on the View 10. Now that is something the 5T lacks. Moving on, under low light, the View 10 shoots images that are a tad sharper with less noise. But here, overall, the photo clicked with the 5T looks brighter and better. Same goes with this image. Less noise on the one shot with the View 10, but the 5T's shot looks considerably brighter with better colors. The View 10 does quite match the 5T in moderately lit scenes like this, but when it's too dark, the 5T does create brighter results, probably due to the fact that the 5T can crank the ISO up to a whopping 9600, while the View 10 restricts it to 4000. Here's another comparison. Both phones can shoot 4K videos at 30 frames per second. The obvious difference here is the field of view and the stability. The footage shot with the 5T is much more stable since it uses EIS. That's the reason for the crop as well, by the way. While the View 10 doesn't have EIS or OIS. When it comes to the quality itself, as you can see, they're almost equally sharp. The dynamic range though is noticeably better on the clip shot with the 5T. The trees look brighter. The colors too look more natural and true to life. The representation of colors of this tree here is accurate on the 5T's video clip. It's also worth mentioning that the View 10 does hunt for focus once in a while. Doesn't really affect the overall quality though. The View 10 does feature a Video Pro mode, but the options are quite limited and can only be tinkered with before you begin shooting the video. Maybe a future update will enhance the Pro mode. What do you guys think? Is Pro mode in video capture something you care about? Let us know in the comments below. This 1080p footage is being shot via the 16 megapixel front-facing camera on the OnePlus 5T, and this one, again a 1080p clip, is being shot via the 13 megapixel front-facing camera on the Honor View 10. Do let me know which one of these looks better in the comments below. Both phones can shoot some really sharp selfies. The images have a ton of detail. They're exposed equally well, and the dynamic range too is similar. With skin tones, for the most part they both get it right, but at times the View 10 tends to go a little pink. Now what sets the View 10 selfie camera apart is, number 1, the portrait mode. The selfies turned out excellent. The background blur is fairly natural, the edge detection is surprisingly accurate. Look at these images, even my ears are in focus. This is a job done right by Huawei. And number 2, some Snapchat-y features which turned out really well given the dedicated artificial intelligence hardware. You can even change the background. Yeah, I know they aren't perfect, but they did produce nice results more often than not. So that's it, I guess, a comprehensive look at the cameras on two of the most sought after budget flagships. The OnePlus 5T does reign supreme with regards to rear camera performance. Now, don't get me wrong, the View 10 performed really well too. In fact, it came really close. And given that the View 10 is priced at just 30,000 rupees, I think it would be harsh to judge the View 10 too harshly for these minor shortcomings. Along with that, Honor's taken the selfie game to a whole new level. The new AI features the amazing portrait mode and the wider field of view on the selfie video, which I feel is very important given that our hands don't stretch too long, mean that the View 10 is the better of the two for selfies. Now, how many of you want to see a full comparison between these phones? Leave a comment down below and we'll make it happen. If you found this video useful, give it a thumbs up, share it with people who are looking for a great camera smartphone in this price range, and subscribe to C4E Tech for more videos like this. Do this to make sure you get notified each time a video goes live here on the channel. Thanks a lot for watching. This is Sundar from C4E Tech, leaving for the moment. Have a great day.